we're going to just kind of delve into the addendum process. This is going to be a little bit different today because we're going to talk about the requirements and what all that means around addendums, but we're going to kind of just go through it very casually and look at really what does the addendum process look like through the nuts and bolts fashion. And so we're going to look at a sample of an addendum and also look at, what you should include. And then we really want to solicit input from you. After we share the sample addendum letter, we'd really like for you all to look at it and even discuss it with your teams and then provide us some immediate input if you have it, but some input later on as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let Missy get started. She has the voice today.
Thank you, Janet. Can everyone hear me? Because I'm over here on the other side. But we're good. It sounds like I can be heard. Yeah. So, addendums. What we have for you first is, of course, just a quote from the Policy 2525. And just a reminder during our review that all changes to your approved county collaborative plan or approved universal pre-K program structure must be submitted as an addendum to the West Virginia Department of Education with signatures from your collaborative core team to be reviewed and approved 30 days prior to the implementation of changes. We know that sometimes things happen and you sort of sometimes last minute, but we try to be pretty flexible with that. And changes of substance refer to the program changes, including but not limited to classroom locations, operation, curriculum, staffing, and resources. And so I want to kind of show you an example of the classroom data header. And what you see here on the screen is how we collect classroom data and information that we need for each county. And if any of these areas would change within classrooms, we would need to be made aware through the addendum process. So I just wanted to kind of show you that example.
And some are more, when you look at the classroom data sheet that you submit annually, when you open or close a classroom, we really need to know, that's the meat of what will be in an addendum. So, some of the nuts and bolts, with the meals and things like that, that information is often provided through Find My West Virginia Pre-K, or, it's also provided whenever legislation asks for some statistical information statewide. So it's important to have that information, but for your addendum, for the most part, your major structural changes, classroom locations, operation.
If you're opening a preschool special needs classroom, we still need that information that needs to be a part of the addendum process as well.
Yes. One thing that Missy already touched on, but I just kind of wanted to reiterate, was the fact that many times counties are faced with having to make changes faster than 30 days. If that's the case, just give us a call and let us know that it's coming. We understand that scenarios like that do happen, and we do need to be flexible when you're really just trying to make sure that every child who's eligible and what service is getting those services. But we want to make sure that this process is completed by the county collaborative early childhood core team. When you know that you're struggling with spaces or that you have way too many spaces and you need to look at more efficient programming, you really have to sit down as that core team and start to make those decisions about how to address structural changes. Each county has a plan on file, And that was the original structure. The final plan that was submitted to the state is basically the crux of your original structure. So if there are changes to that original plan, those are indicated through addendums that have been submitted or will be submitted in the future as well.
Just checking to see if we have any questions so far. We're good. Okay. So preparing an addendum. And this is where we're going to ask for the county's feedback here shortly. The County Collaborative Early Childhood team must develop an addendum letter that includes the proposed changes, of course. And like Janet said, we're talking about major structural changes. The addendum letter must include necessary information to illustrate changes to the county program. In other words, justification as to why this is necessary, a necessary change. And then the addendum letter must include signatures of each member of the core team. And depending on how your county is structured and the members that are involved, that would be those individuals. Do you want to add anything, or should we just go to this example? Okay. So we have an example here for everyone to look at. And as you can see, it's you put your information at the top there, and then it would, and we're going to follow this up with some more details about who it would go to and why. But as you can see, we have
the contact information for Janet and her mailing address and whatnot. So we have here at the top the opening. You can enter your county team name, and then you're saying that you want to amend the current approved program structure. And this is where we have a template in the letter. We have it titled with site, classroom, original structure, new structure changes, justification, and the impact within the community. So we want you to tell us what is originally going on in the county, and then the changes that you're making and why, and if there is any impact in the county based on those changes. So now we're going to go to the second page of the sample. And as you can see, we have another sentence there where you import the name of your county. And then we have added, just based on policy, the core team names, like the pre-K coordinator name, the Head Start representative, the special education representative, then the child care or DHHR representative name, depending on the needs of your county. As you will see, we have an area where you please print the name, and then across from there the signature. We have had a lot of clarification requests in the past with addendums because we couldn't see or understand the signature to know if it was actually a core partner signing on the addendum. So we have added to the sample where you would print their name, and then the signature would be there, but we would be able to see the print name and know that if that was actually that person. So we are going to be sending this sample out to you, and we're going to be sending it out on the pre-K listserv, and we're going to be asking for your input. And I believe we're going to be sending it out as a Word document so that you can manipulate the document to best suit your needs. And we would like to hear back from you to know what changes are recommended so that we can share that with other counties. Many of you are very creative in the forms and policies and procedures that you have created, and we like to share those ideas with the counties, and so we would like to have your feedback. Okay, we have reviewed the policy on addendums, why we need to do addendums, and we reviewed the sample. Now we're going to go over how you do the submission process. If you remember on the sample at the top of the letter, we had listed 2, the West Virginia Universal Pre-K Steering Team in care of Janet Bach. She is the pre-K coordinator for the West Virginia Department of Education. So you would submit your addendum electronically to the West Virginia Universal Pre-K coordinator, but you also need to copy each county core team member on that email so that they know that business is moving forward with the plan for the changes for the county. Once the pre-K coordinator receives your addendum, then it is forwarded to all members of the pre-K steering team for review. And this is where, when I mentioned before, we have a lot of back and forth about signatures, understanding what they look like. Is this actually a core team member? Or when we often contact counties to get clarification because we don't necessarily understand the reason or purpose of the change. Once we have reviewed and we receive clarifications on any of our questions, then the Universal Pre-K Steering Team provides a written acknowledgement to all the members of that county collaborative core team to confirm that we have approved and the process is completed and you as a county can move forward on the changes that you've told us about. Then the last part of submission is the county classroom data. And as you know, statewide, families, legislators, county offices, all kinds of people are using the Find My West Virginia Pre-K website. And so anytime a county makes those changes, we need to keep that website up to date. Currently, that is being done manually through Janet Bach and her office. And we have spoken with the counties in the past about moving this to an online process where you as a county would have access to your page, and as you make those changes, once you receive the confirmation from the steering team, you would then be able to go in and make those changes. And that would keep things up to date in the moment. But as you know, we've not been able to get that change put into place. But we are working on it, and it is in the future. So that is that's where we are with the classroom county data and how that would work.